Welcome back. Today, the Arizona Supreme Court ruled that an abortion ban from 1864 may be enforced, a move that opens the way for a near total ban in our state. We are joined now by Cheryl Bruce, campaign manager for Arizona for Abortion Access. Thanks so much for joining us today. First, we want to get your reaction to today's ruling, and did it surprise you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And our reaction today is just that we are absolutely devastated by this ruling. We were surprised. I mean, to take the state back to a Civil War era ban that was on the books before women even had the right to vote is frankly unbelievable and unacceptable. And the Arizona for Abortion Access campaign remains resolved that now more than ever, we have got to see this through, and we need to pass this constitutional amendment this fall on the ballot.
There's no doubt that this will be a hot button issue in November, maybe the hot button issue. But are you surprised or disappointed that more noise hasn't come from women's groups about restrictive abortions, the rolling back of Roe v. Wade? And does that noise need to be turned up before November?
So I think what we are seeing is women and men and all Arizonans are very supportive of this issue and protecting the right to access abortion. We're out in the signature gathering phase of our campaign right now, and we announced last week that we have collected more than 500,000 signatures. We've seen an influx of calls and emails into the campaign today for people asking where they can go sign, asking to volunteer. So I think this is an issue that is at the forefront of voters' minds, and that it will be very important this fall, and that people are already well aware that politicians here in Arizona, as well as the courts, are trying to take this right away from them.
And what would that amendment on the ballot look like? What are some of the specifics on that?
Yeah, sure. So it protects abortion up till fetal viability, and it puts the woman, the decision squarely into the hands of a woman and her doctor and her family, and it takes it out of the hands of politicians, which we feel, obviously, in light of today's ruling, as well as some things the legislature has done here in the past, is very important.
Yeah, Justice Lopez, wrote in his ruling that physicians are on notice. They could potentially be prosecuted, go to prison even for a couple of years. What kind of predicament does that put doctors and patients in?
Yeah, there is in the 1864 ban criminal penalties for providers, abortion providers. So I think it leaves a lot of uncertainty, essentially, right? Like, until we get this ballot measure passed this fall, essentially there's a near total ban, and women will not be able to have the right to access an abortion here in state for any reason. You know, exceptions for rape and incest are not brought into consideration. Health of the mother, miscarriage, those are all things that now will not be put into thought when a woman is seeking to have an abortion and she's having that decision and that conversation with her doctor and medical provider.
Can we just address the other side, though? You heard Jake, who was on here before you came on, and he said there's nothing more precious than life. He appreciates and loves the fact that he lives in a state that now respects that. What do you say to the people who say you should not take a human life in utero at any point?
That's not where the majority of Arizonans, or frankly the majority of Americans, are on this issue. People want the freedom to decide, and I think that we've seen since Dobbs the reaction and the backlash that type of a stance has had. And I think that it's convenient for Jake to say that when, again, he's upholding a law that was on the books before women in this country even had the right to vote.
All right, Cheryl Bruce, thank you so much for joining us in studio. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And